challenging someone's loyalty is challenging someone's character.
Not as me. Welcome to Cocoa Kiki, where we get skin deep when it comes to the culture and everything in between. I'm your host, Kayleen.
And I'm Kaylah, your resident cocoa butter enthusiast.
Yes, and as her new book is titled Black Girl in the Middle, we have Shenequa Golding.
Hi.
Look at your book.
Hi.
Do y'all see the book? Look at my book. She has a hold your book for a
You're
second.
literally in the middle.
Can we get a moment with her holding her book? Like, this is an accomplishment, okay?
I feel like we need like a theme song for
A
this.
theme song, just like
Like
Black girl in the middle, doing her thing.
I feel like it would be like if there was a theme song for it, it gives me like living single energy. Like
Yes.
that would be.
But I was feeling like Moesha energy. Like S to the H to the
the-
you know what I mean? Like I was feeling like Moesha energy.
it's giving the vibe is giving 90s ret to go. So it's like you could just do a whole music video in here real quick.
So tell us about this book, right? It's a plethora of essays of you figuring it out. And I think we can all relate to that. We're all trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Every day, one step at a time. So yeah, tell us how you came up with the title.
This book is 12 chapters, 12 essays about a lot of things that I experienced in my 20s with a few that happened in my 30s. And now I'll be 40 next year, I am finally able to make sense of a lot of the things that happened. So I just kind of wrote about some of the events, some of the boys I dated, a lot of the breakups I went through, and
I'm just looking at you because I'm like, ain't no way you
Right,
about to
I'm
be-
like,
and no,
40.
the age you just.
What are you talking about?
That's
Black
not real.
don't crack.
no,
because-
I just
No.
turned 39. I'm gonna be 40 next
Oh
year.
my god,
That is
what?
crazy. I'm thinking she's like our age. Like I was like, hey girl, like hey sister girl. I mean, you're still sister girl.
Yeah, you're 21. Yeah. 21, can you do something for me? For you? No, it is not. That's not real.
Her accolades match her looks, okay? Because listen, she is a writer. She was a writer for Vibe. She was a writer for Essence. She's a writer now for Complex. So listen, you've been doing very well for yourself as a girl in the middle.
Thank you.
A black girl in the middle. I'm gonna say
you.
that. And then look at her jawline, guys. Guys, can we?
You know what is so
not get over
bananas?
it.
You know what's so bananas? This guy that I just stopped talking to because he's a Taurus. He used to. No, he's a Taurus.
No, really. All of us are like Taurus.
He used to call me cheekbones because he was just like, you have really good.
No, they're like phenomenal. They're super just like snatched and just.
Oh my gosh, stop gassing me.
Yeah, no. I know. One day I hope to.
It's all about the contour placement. That's really all it is. It's about
But yours is giving life.
I was thinking she was mewing, right? That's what it's called.
I don't know how to. I don't know how to do
I don't
it.
even
but
know how
I've
to do
seen
it,
them on
right?
So you make an L on the side of your face, so that's where the blush goes, right? And then right underneath the blush is where you start the contour.
Okay. I have to practice.
Yeah. I literally just do this.
My first thing is finding the right shade to contour with because I've done some things that have not worked.
But see, but you're a neutral shade, so it's going to be a little hard because sometimes it can pull gray. But if you got to find a shade that just hits right in the middle,
That's what
Like my book, A Black Girl in the Middle.
Yes, we love.
So, do you want to give us just kind of like a synopsis for those who don't know about this book? Exactly what, because you said it's about your life, so relationships, self. And I think all these things are important because while you're navigating your life, I think we talked about this, you're constantly shape-shifting, right? And so you're shape-shifting in your relationships, whether that's self or with your friendships or with your relationships. And so I actually want to start with self, right? Because that's important. You have to have a good relationship with yourself. And from where you sitting here today, we can see that your relationship with yourself is thriving. I must say.
I appreciate that.
So you said growing up, you found yourself in the middle, fluctuating between not being like the fly girl, the athlete, the overachiever. Correct. So did you feel like you were all three or like none at all?
I felt like I could like dip my toe into one or two of them, but consistently it was not me. Like we all know, like in high school, there was that one girl who was always fly, who had the dope like curling iron. You know what I'm saying? Like we knew the athlete who consistently won the races, or the person who was consistently getting A's. That was not me growing up, and I only kind of hit my stride. This is going to sound a little sad. Like when I turned 37, 38, like that's kind of really.
Nobody, that was not sad, okay?
That's really when I kind of
Everybody
like.
has their own journey.
That's kind of when I really like felt comfortable just being myself, and I'm an introvert, and I kind of just keep to myself. And losing a lot of friendships also played a role in that.
Yeah.
And that's one of my chapters. My chapter 2 is entitled Kimberly. It's about my first friendship breakup and how that really like shaped me.
Oh wow. So that shaped you like in a traumatic big way.
In a very big way. In a very big way. Yeah.
I mean, we will get to friendships, but
Okay.
I do want to go back to just self in general, right? So you were saying that you felt like there were people who kind of put themselves in one avenue and stuck to it.
Yes,
And
yes.
I agree with you. I wasn't like that either. Like, it was like, I feel like in middle school, I was like dancing. And then in high school, I was like sports, volleyball. Like,
Yeah.
And then college, I was just kind of like, I don't know what I want to do. I'm just kind of like figuring it out. I don't know. And even now, like, I feel like I have so many lanes that I'm interested in, whether it's media, whether it's fitness, whether it's just, I just need to relax. You know what I mean? So, like, I think we need to make a space for, like, multi-hyphenates, right? Like, people who are interested in so many different things, and, like, you can pour into different cups, and it doesn't have to be equal. It all encompasses who you are, and I don't think that many people feel that way.
I also think that we live in a world where we don't have hobbies anymore.
Hobbies is social media. Social media is the hobby.
Yeah,
But it's so bad because
but
we
it-
really
it's
need to
horrible.
find
Yeah.
like tangible or non-tangible things that you physically are like doing, but also consistently doing to keep yourself like,
Happy and replenished
Yeah.
and refreshed. It's just like you said, you don't know if you want to do media or fitness. You can do them all, but here's the thing: you don't have to turn each of them into a brand. That's what. that's
that's
what's
a good
problem with our generation. Oh my God, I can do fitness. Let me start a YouTube channel, or just go for a run.
right. That's fine.
Literally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally
Like
fine.
it's okay.
It's right. You know what I
Okay.
mean?
Right.
Like I love cooking. I should start a blog. Girl, just go make
Not
a
everybody
quiche.
is meant to be the next
No,
Betty
wait.
Crocker,
Right,
Or whatever.
right.
Because you said that. Remember when you were
Yes.
like, no, about like hairstylists. Like, just because you could do hair doesn't mean you need to have
You
a
don't have to have a
business.
booking site. Like it's okay. Like you can just do hair. Like to your point, everything does not have to turn into a grandiose thing. Like, all right, I'm about to buy my next house with this. Like maybe you won't. Maybe you'll buy with the things that like you're
But you're
probably not even putting that
like,
much.
it's okay. Yeah.
But I want to pause for a second though. I want to bring it back to what you said about you feeling like you found yourself at 37 years old. Like that's where you felt the most comfortable. I feel like I want to take a beat there and just like actually sit in that for a second, because most of us are never given the space to be okay with things necessarily like not panning out the way we thought they were going to, or just experiencing life in a way that we're not, we're born and we're like, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And this is going to be my plan. And like, it's emotional actually to hear you say like at 37, you felt the most like at yourself, because it gives me a sense of like security and like grace for myself and space to be like, it's okay if you're not sure with where you go from here, or like where you're supposed to be, or how this is going to now. I don't even know how tomorrow's going to go. Like, who knows? But like, you've done so much that you've accomplished over that time. And like at 37, you're like, wow, I finally feel like I'm getting my footing and feeling like good with myself. Like, I don't think we get to have those conversations often. We're put, especially with society, it's just like a thing where it's like, you're 15, figure it out. You're 21. Like, I'm 12 years old. Like, what am I supposed to do?
I'm just a baby.
Like, I don't know what to do or how to. And I think you're expected to have it all together by a certain age. We do it to ourselves, of course. We set these expectations. But with society and social media being our hobbies now, like we said, like all we do is scroll and see people that have it together, that are younger than us or are born into it and stuff. And you kind of like start to compare yourself and try to figure out like, why is this not working for me? Or how do I navigate that? And I just think it's really refreshing that you're like, you stand in that. You're like, no, I actually didn't feel like I was my whole self till 37. And most people don't realize that a lot of the greats also didn't really like get their footing in a lot of their careers, or just things that really worked out for them until they were much older as well. I think we just assume that it has to be done so soon. And it's like, nobody gets to talk about like, well, actually, no, like I lived this life and like, look where you are today. Like,
I actually think it's a blessing that this happened later. Fun fact, I was going to self-publish a book because I was just like, I knew what it took to write a book. I know you needed an agent. They needed to, go out there and promote and hit up the different publishing houses. And I just did not think that it was going to happen for me. So I was like, you know what, let me self-publish. And girl, the things that I was going to put out in that self-publishing book, I was like, It was.
Thank God.
Woo! I just wasn't. And I'm just so thankful that I had the opportunity to sit back and just reflect. And Yeah, 37, 38 is when I kind of hit my stride and I really started to feel good about who I was. I'm a person who believes that you are who you are. You were born who you are. That's what I think. If you are a tangerine and you are a watermelon, you will never be a tangerine. You will never be a watermelon. What happens is you start hanging out with grapes. You start hanging out with blueberries. You're supposed to be a watermelon. Yeah. Be that watermelon. Yeah. Be that tangerine. And when you stop hanging out with them other people, you really kind of get into who you are.
That, and also because of the fact that social media is the hobby, now all of a sudden that we're hanging out or we're seeing people who are tangerines, who are watermelons, who are kind of just, I guess, in a way, blocking what we were meant for.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so it's kind of my mom says this all the time. She's like, comparison is a thief of joy, Kayleen.
Yeah. Yes.
Comparison is a thief of joy because now you're comparing yourself to a freaking kiwi. Why are you comparing yourself to a fuzzy kiwi?
Supposed to be the kiwi. Yes. You were the watermelon. Yes. Keep planting those seeds.
Plant those seeds where you're supposed to plant them.
Yes.
No, really. One thing that I was thinking about when you were talking, right, at the age of 37, and you saying that for you was just wow, now I can give myself grace. You have to remember that you can always reinvent yourself. Mm-hmm. In my head, I'm damn, I'm stuck here at this point. I've done this. I can't, the thought of having to go back to school and changing paths and careers is so daunting. But it's babe, again, age ain't nothing but a number. You can reinvent yourself at any point in time. Mm-hmm, and you're just reminding us of that because I'm just yeah, that's so true.
We were just talking too about not necessarily having that opportunity to have people that are available to mentor and look up to be able to have those conversations literally 10 minutes ago. And it's you literally are the epitome of somebody that's you can have that safe space to have that conversation with and find out ways how you can grow and what steps you can take and ask for advice and stuff like that. And we just don't have that often. So it's so awesome to have you here. I just feel so at home, calm energy, just safe. Aww, safe space. Safe space. Safe space.
Now that I'm thinking about it, because I've always thought that my mentor is supposed to be someone who's way older than me and
no.
I don't. Yeah, and so I'm in my head I'm damn, because honestly, you're my bestie now, right? So you can have somebody who's your bestie, but also somebody you could look up to and you know what I mean?
Yeah, not us looking for Oprah. Where is she?
Right.
I don't know. She's probably with Stedman somewhere. I don't know, or building a school somewhere, killing it, but
right.
We're gonna get to Oprah. I don't know. Not right now.
Yeah. So I'm just thinking in my head now that we're just all sitting here. It's you can have somebody who's a best friend and a mentor at the same time, or people who are in your age range that can still inspire you and you can learn from. And so, yeah, I don't know. I'm just sitting here and I'm reflecting.
I want to talk about the 10 levels of Black girl math because that sent me as I was going through. I was there
are 10.
There's 10.
There's 10.
But okay, so at first I saw 10 levels and I was oh, maybe this is not actual math, but I was I'm just very curious to see how this goes. And I started reading. I'm okay, Ted, you about to piss me off already. That's just me. So I'm oh, okay, I see. So we start with the death stare. Then there's a brow. And I see we get all the way up to cheating boyfriends and the people who don't see color. Mm-hmm. We resonate a lot with a lot. I just want you to walk me through that experience. I saw that you also said that nobody has ever talk down about your name or just you never had another interaction with somebody like that after that day, except for I think people that look like us sometimes.
Right.
I just want you to walk us through all of that.
Okay, so Black Girl Math is in chapter 1. That chapter is about my name. And it opens with me being a sophomore in college, waitressing at an Italian restaurant in Virginia. I went to Hampton University. Go Hampton, yeah. Okay. And I go to this table, and I had worked a double that day, and I'm taking the woman's order, and the white guy goes, I see that you're so tired. I was oh, yeah, I worked a double. And then he goes, oh, okay, what's your name? I say, my name is Shenequa. And he goes, so how many kids do you have?
Oh.
So he automatically assumed because I was a Black girl who worked a double and I was young that I had kids.
That's cool.
Instead of I was a college student maybe working to buy extra books. And in that moment, I had to decide how much anger I was going to show. Mm-hmm. And when you are a Black woman, it's not justifiable to be angry, no matter what happens. Right. So it was do I do that? Or do I hit you with...
Yeah,
right. And the broken neck.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and there is a big leap between this and this. There are steps, and those different steps is what I call black girl math. I also want to be very clear that just because you're a black girl and just because someone's angry at you does not mean that you subscribe to my definition of black girl math. There are some black women who get angry and they are able to just snatch it up, breathe it in, let it out, and go on about their business. And then there are some black girls who will stomp you out in a pair of black Air Force Ones.
I think that that's a cool thing to have, though, just because, like, you know what? You can, like, mentally be like, we're only doing a 3 today, Kayla. We're only going to a 3.
Yes.
We're doing a 3, and that's it, because if I go to a 5, I might not make
Exactly.
Shaking tables.
it. Yeah.
Shaking tables.
A 3 is what we need to do. So I feel like I like that. I like that you were like, you know, you gave yourself like we're going to just add levels to this, because we're not about to do is jeopardize myself. I'm not risking your life. I'm not risking my life. It's not worth it.
It's not about to be a Dateline episode.
Like
Josh
Especially with
Mankiewicz in the
and the wife. Like,
yeah, no, we're not. Gonna
thanks,
do
but
that.
no thanks.
I don't got the time and the brain, like, to do the equations.
Yes.
And I don't want to do that. Like, I want to feel what I want to feel and how I want to feel it without having to suppress myself.
Tell me you're a
You know
Cancer
what I
without
mean?
telling me you're a Cancer.
Oh, God. That should come from me. I mean, fair. I wear my colors on my sleeves. I am a Cancer through and through. So I don't want to have to, granted, I love the tense, but I'm also like, I really just want to tell you how I feel
And that's
in my
it.
eyebrows, in my shoulders, and in my neck. Period.
Yeah, my problem is I'll leave. I just won't say anything. I'll just be like, and I will walk away. That's worse, though, because, like, I feel like the aftermath, not with random shit, like with people I know, like the aftermath, they're just like, we're going to have to talk about this. And I'm like, are we? Do we? I say, I vote no. This is when I walk away again. Yeah. And they're like, you can't keep running from your problems. I'm like,
I can, though. I have my Nikes on. I could go.
or my Crocs in sports mode.
Sports mode.
Or melting. I'll run. I don't
Barefoot.
care. Yeah. Good exfoliation for the bottom of your feet, by the way. Barefoot. Just saying. I'm just saying it is.
But I think that also, when it comes to the 10 levels of black girl math, like, it's like, I think it also plays into who you are in terms of, like, introvertedness, extrovertedness, and you told me that you were an introvert, right? So you've always been an introvert through and through. Me, I was an introvert at one point, but then, like, I think once I hit, like, puberty, all of a sudden I was an extrovert. Now that I'm in, like, my mid-20s, I'm like, I'm an ambivert, you know? So now that, for me, I'm kind of just, like, dissecting that a lot different than I would have when I was younger, I feel. Like, I don't know, you all over the place.
Not just looking at me like I'm crazy.
No, you're not crazy. No, I think actually you're an ambivert too, but I think you're a percent. Like, it's percentage.
It just depends on the situation that I'm in. I'm very, like, go with the energy and kind of like I move like that. So it's hard. I couldn't put my finger on what I am. I'm just kind of like, just kind of read the room. That's how I go. I read the room and I move with intent after that once I kind of feel it out.
That's the most important form of literacy.
Yeah, well, that's what I do. I like when you say it. You make me sound so like, yes, educated and yeah. Also, I need the 10 girls stuff. I need it on a shirt.
Not merch. Not merch.
Because I'll wear that right out. And I want all the steps listed on the back so that you know, look at my
Where I'm
back.
at.
Literally, I'll be like,
Where I'm at.
number 5.
7, pack it up.
Got it.
Just don't even come near me. Yes, number
Got
7.
it.
Yeah.
I got it.
What is one thing that you would tell your younger self based on what you know now from figuring it all out?
That's a good question.
Yeah, girl, you know.
We was doing a little thinking. Moving with intent.
What would I? Oh man, I would. In regarding just my life, professionally, my friendships, relationships, just
Life, like what's one solid thing that you're like, you know what? If I could turn back time, if I could talk to 10-year-old me based on what I know, based on what I wrote in this book, what am I going to tell her that's really going to shift her frame of mind?
Listen to people because they always tell you who they are.
Maya Angelou.
It's just like listen to people. Listen to people because they always tell you who they are.
They show their ass.
They do.
It's the delusion up here.
Yes, it
That
is.
gets us, we're like, I'm gonna give them a chance. They said this,
Yes.
but I think they meant this. And it's like, no.
No, just
Because it's just showing you
they are showing
who they
you.
are. And we just fight in our brains, be like, yeah, but
So I'll give you an example. I remember a childhood friend of mine. One time, we were just outside riding our bikes, and I had a hat on, and this girl snatched the hat off, and my hair wasn't done, and embarrassed me in front of everyone.
I'll die.
I'm
die.
I'll die. You know what though? There was a time when, you remember when we used to wear fake ponytails all the time?
Yes.
Like it was like,
And still
I think
do.
we were still figuring it out. And still do. But now we know how to secure them.
Yeah.
There was a time when it was like, I literally just pulled the drawstring, didn't put no pins, it was just whatever. Like and boys were so mean, bruh. Like they would literally pull the ponytail. So when you said that, it brought me back to when somebody snatched my ponytail and I said, oh my God.
But wait, what happened after? Like, did you?
I would have been like 10.
Oh, you were young.
I was young.
So
But I didn't realize like, oh, this is who you are. Like you're ugly. Not physically.
no, but inside.
You're ugly.
Yeah. Like
You're
how you
ugly.
act. Why you act like that? Like what? Like that.
It's the way you
Yeah.
act. Like, why do you act like that?
Yeah.
Like, who raised you? That's what I be saying that all the time. Who raised you?
Because it's ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
that's like why? Like why do we even need to?
Do that.
What was the point in this? What do you gain out of that? Like,
Give us a tea on Kimberly. Give us the story. Just like the little backstory.
Kimberly and I were friends.
Is that her real name?
No, girl, who was catching the lawsuits?
Okay.
So Kimberly and I were friends in high school, all throughout high school, college, and then maybe like 30, 31, 32. That's when our friendship came to an end-ish. And she was upset with me. The straw that broke the camel's back for me and Kimberly was she accused me of lacking absolute loyalty because I dated her ex-boyfriend's roommate.
What that got to do with me? What?
huh?
I dated her ex-boyfriend's roommate, and she said that I lacked absolute loyalty. And from that moment on, it really just, like, I just did not think my friendship with Kimberly was going to end. Like, we had our issues, we've had our versions of Cold Wars, but I never thought that it was going to, like,
Let alone over something like that.
challenging someone's loyalty is challenging someone's character. And I do really think that people, I do really think that people in friendships really need to have a conversation about what is loyalty, what do you expect, and what is not to be expected. Girl code, I don't know if it's changed, but girl code is you and I are friends, you dated James, James is off limits until the end of time. We can all go to the ancestral plane. James will still be off limits.
Right.
Yeah.
James's cousin, James's best friend, James's daddy? No.
Yeah.
Shout out to the dads because sometimes the dads be dadding.
You know what I'm saying? James's dad is fine. but
Daddy.
But sometimes it is the daddy, and that's okay. But to your point, yes, as long as it's not James, I agree.
No, yeah.
You're not doing anything wrong.
I think she felt like if I don't mess with him, you don't mess with him. That's just what it was. Like,
But there had to be red flags before that though, right? Because I feel like
like in the friendship.
yeah, because again, to your point where you were like, when someone shows you who they are, believe them, right? Because I feel like this was the straw that broke the camel's back. But I feel like, and you tell me if I'm wrong, was there a moment that she kind of showed her ass before?
I felt like Kimberly was a very demanding friend. Like she was known to cut you off if you didn't call her or check in with her. But that's who she was then. I have not seen or spoken to Kimberly in years. I have no desire to see or speak to Kimberly. But like that's who she was then. She
Is
was
that like territorial, I guess, kind of?
maybe territorial, maybe like I expect you to call me. I expect you to check in with me. Like that's who she was.
It's a lot.
It was a lot.
I'm gonna speak for the
So she
devil's
is.
advocate?
So she is a water sign. She's
because hear me out. I
Okay.
expect my friend to be the type of friend that I am to you, right? Like it's just kind of like the energy I give, I expect to receive. And I understand that everyone's different, but it's just like if you are in a friendship, if you're in a relationship, there are certain like what's the word? Like there's just certain expectations that I have. And like if you don't meet them, cool, I'll give you like grace because grace is important. So I'll be like, babe, I hate that I only hear you once a week. Like if you're my best friend, I expect to talk to you maybe like once every 3 days. I don't know, just certain things. So it's like I'm communicating because communicating is so important, and I don't know why adults can't do it. But I think that like maybe she was that friend that was territorial because I am that territorial friend, so I get it. Like it's just like sometimes things just have to be communicated. But her cutting you off is where I'm like, okay, that's a little aggressive. Like you need to give people grace. So that's the only reason why I'm cutting you off of saying like, hey, I may not be an advocate for Kimberly in that sense, but I empathize where she was coming from. So continue.
I don't miss her. I don't want her in my life. I'm okay.
Yeah.
I've been quite all right without her.
Yeah.
I don't know what the male equivalent to this is, but when Kimberly and I like broke up, I felt like I was able to finally take my bra off. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a heavy thing, because that is like an indescribable feeling when you're like,
it's just a sense of release. And when she and I parted ways, I was just like, ooh, Heavenly Father.
You know what? Sometimes you don't realize how heavy like a relationship or a friendship is on you, and once you take it off your back, you're like, oh wow, I didn't even know it was there for real. Like, and that happened to me recently too. Like, I was just like constantly in like this relationship / situation where it was just kind of like I felt required to be there in a sense, and I wasn't really listening to like my inner self of like, you know what, the season of this friendship or whatever has ended, but I feel like I owe it to them to stay in it. But once it was done, it was like, oh, thank God. So I want to ask you one last question. Like, when do you know that a friendship should end? Because for you didn't even realize until it was done. So when do you feel like you know? Like, it's like, what are the cues of like, you know what, this friendship is over?
For me, I can tell you, for me, if I love you more than you love you, I'm out.
Not as
If I love you more than you love you, I'm gone. So there's a scene in Sex and the City, we've all seen it. It shows up on Twitter every 3 or 4 months where Miranda and Carrie are shopping, and Miranda was like, hey, do you want to go to the movies on Saturday? And Carrie's like, no, I'm on deadline. And then and then Carrie goes, no, I'm actually going to go out with Big, but I didn't want to tell you because I knew you wouldn't approve. And Miranda, she just like flips out. She calls Carrie pathetic, which is horrible, right? Miranda should not have called Carrie pathetic, but Miranda loved Carrie more than Carrie loved Carrie.
it's like, I can't want more for you than you want for yourself.
Yes.
Wait, am I Miranda?
Oh, I'm definitely Miranda.
Am I Miranda?
I'm definitely Miranda.
You've never watched Sex and the City? Yeah. Yeah, I'm putting you on
Nah,
blast.
Okay, it's fine. Because I'm
No, I take it back.
Yeah.
So chapter 8 is called Daddy's Girl. And I think that the way that we appear in relationships is very dependent and very heavy on our relationship with our father. That is the first person, the first man, the first person of the opposite sex that we love, you know, with all of our heart. So what was it like with yours growing up?
Oh, my father wasn't there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
My father, he chose not to be there. So I don't have a relationship with my dad.
Okay. So then when it came to like knowing what a healthy relationship looked like, right? Because now you had to find it somewhere else. Where was that for you? Where did you realize like, oh, this is what a healthy relationship looks like?
So actually 2 chapters down, chapter 10, it's called Lowered Expectations. My cousin Tara and her then boyfriend Winston, now husband Winston, they had a Halloween party, and Tara did all the cooking and all the decorating, and then we danced and we had fun and all that jazz. And then we got drunk, and then we went to sleep, and then the next morning I came home and the kitchen was clean.
Oh, that's a keeper.
Winston cleaned the kitchen.
Okay.
And I remember thinking,
wow.
oh,
This is like a thing.
this is
right,
like y'all can do
like,
this. Like,
it's like real. Like it happens. Like,
it happens.
wow.
So seeing that, and it's just cleaning the kitchen, but seeing like, oh, she cooked, he cleaned. She did something, he fulfilled a need without her telling him to do it.
Tara and Winston. Is that the name of the chapter? What's the name?
It's chapter 10. It's called Lowered Expectations.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay. And so from that moment, did you find yourself kind of like searching to have relationships that kind of emulated that? Like, was that always the goal after that? I'm sure it doesn't always happen like right away where you like meet somebody and you're like, okay.
No, facts, because the thing is, once you have an expectation or like you see something that you're like, you know what, that's what I want, now the expectation is it's not lowered anymore. We're here. So if you're not meeting me here, it really takes, like, it kind of peels people away. And you're like, dang, the pool is very small in terms of my expectations at this point. Now I'm looking at 5 people instead of 20 because, like, you're not acting right.
But I guess more so like when you were able to see that, when you then decided to kind of venture off into more relationships after that, did it, well, I'm sure it shifted what you were looking for, but do you feel like it ever hindered you with like being like, oh, this is what I want. Like, I'm not willing to settle any less than this, when you might have had like a guy that had like 90% of the qualities, but maybe like that 10% was something that you were like not willing to negotiate on? Like, was that something that you felt like you ever experienced?
So unfortunately, I have not been lucky in love, and my experience has been that if you meet a guy who has one really good quality, he has 10 bad. qualities.
Okay. I was not expecting you to go
I
there.
didn't think that either.
I
I was
didn't think
like,
that was
oh.
coming next. Okay.
There was this like, oh wow, so you're hardworking, but you don't have empathy, or you lack sensitivity, or you just don't understand. So that has been my experience. I've also met guys who are very domestic. They cook, they clean, they do all those things, but they're also liars. So it's just like, oh, okay, well, you know, there
So
goes
just
that.
giving like nope and nope and,
And
nope
nope
and
and
nope. Okay.
So that and you know, and that's where I am now. That could change, but that's just kind of been my experience.
I think it's gonna change for you.
Yeah, I'm like,
It's
I'm
also,
speaking
I
into
think it's gonna
existence.
change for me too, because I mean, there's not much going on over here. But I mean, like, yeah, like it's gonna change for all of us.
No,
We're all
at this
gonna
point,
get
remember when
something
you were like, we should call this the single girl?
Yeah. I think like the first episode, I was like, we just changed that single girl class. She's like, stop saying that. I was like, that weird.
Because I'm just like, no, we are manifesting good, great men for us, okay? And that's it. That is it.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
But like, what happens if you don't get married?
Oh, that's a good question. That is a question that I'm trying not to ask myself. I'm too scared to ask myself that. But to your point, it is something that I will eventually, if it boils down to that, then that's just the way that the cookie crumbles. That's what God gave me, and that's what I have to deal with. Like, at the end of the day, remember when we were talking about kiwis and tangerines and grapes? It's just kind of like, okay, well, if I was meant to be single all my life, then I need to now figure out what that looks like and maneuver in that way and be
all my life. Yeah.
and just be happy with that, because you have to find the joy within yourself, which is how we started this conversation, your relationship with yourself.
I've come to terms with whatever's going to happen.
It's gonna
happen.
happen. I agree.
Yeah. I'm a Virgo, so I have a lot of controlling things that I would like to control. But I've also learned to let go and just kind of like, it really is what it is. We, of course, can navigate our paths as best as possible by making the decisions that we make, but whatever's going to happen is going to happen. I see a lot of things for my future. I want a lot of things, whether it be family, kids, house on the hill, beach, the pool, like whatever. I'm not negotiating on the pool. I am going to get the pool because that's like, I want to swim. But outside of that, like, it is what it is. I don't know. I feel like I fight so much with like trying to force things to happen. It's like, girl, you don't have to say so. Like,
Let go and let God.
yeah. So I'm like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, I was still a good woman and I was still a great catch, and you didn't catch me, and that's okay because I'm swimming in my pool. I am.
I'm backstrokes.
Yeah. I'm being a Pisces. I'm just being a fish. I'm doing my thing. So I don't have Pisces in my chart, but I just figured out.
All right. Okay.
There's nothing wrong with Pisces, by the way. I don't know anybody's Pisces. I was just saying, like, the fish thing. That's all.
You're done. You are finished. But anyways, thank you so much for coming. This was
Thank you
an
guys
amazing
for having
conversation.
me.
I want us to do this offline every day.
Every day.
We need a therapy group
We gotta
chat.
make a group chat at this point.
You know, I want you in my life forever. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I'm like, do you want to adopt me? Like,
No,
I'm up for adoption at this point.
Don't be surprised if she comes back, y'all.
You guys were
Don't be
great.
surprised.
You guys were
back for
great.
sure.
You guys were great.
You're
Thank you.
so
Thank you.
great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Again, please show your book.
Oh my God, yes.
Black Girl in the Middle, available where?
Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever you buy books, your local bookstore, library, wherever you buy
Kindle.
your digital.
All of
Kindle,
it.
Pretty.
all of it.
Book.
Get the book, guys.
Shenequa Golding, everybody.
And where can they support you? Like, where can they follow you? Like,
I'm on Threads, Golding Girl 617, Golding Girl 617. That's Threads, Twitter, and Instagram. I have not been on Facebook since the dawn of time.
okay.
All right.
Well, that's it, y'all. You gotta go follow her and.
All right.
Bye, you
Bye, guys.
guys.
Stay moisturized.